Good morning. Just getting started a little early, but we'll wait till we get going for just a couple minutes to let people get logged in. All right. All right. Thank you for joining me today for Virtual PBX Dash training. If you're a vConsole customer, we no longer do live trainings for those. However, you can find our recorded trainings under the vConsole support page. And the advanced admin training, that is the complete training for admins for the vConsole platform. All right, so for Dash customers, we'll go ahead and go under login. Actually, for any customer, you can get to the login page, clicking on the top here, login, and hopefully that will load up. So your Dash login is right here. The web phone login is right here. So this is a phone option for our Dash customers. You can use a browser on a desktop or laptop computer, either Chrome or Firefox at this point. We are working on getting Safari and Edge in the near future. And then down here, you have your vConsole login. One thing about the web phone, it only works on desktop or laptop browsers. It will not work on Chrome on your mobile phone, for example. I've tested that, and unfortunately, it does not connect properly. All right, so you click on login for Dash, and it'll take you to your login page here. Now, it's going to want your email address, your password, and then your account name, which is typically your company name, although I'm using a test account. You can always choose to remember you, and also forgot your info is in case you forgot your password, for example. And you click login, and it takes you to your dashboard. So users, these are your full function users. These are people who make and receive calls. They can use VoIP devices. They can use cell phone or landlines, and they have all sorts of other features available to them. Below that is agents. These are people who are dedicated to receiving calls through an ACD queue. ACD queues are $30 per queue, but you can add those. And then agents are restricted to VoIP devices. So a VoIP phone, either like a physical VoIP phone, a soft phone, or even the web phone. Below that, you have your total devices on the account. And registered is typically, or unregistered devices typically are going to be cell phone landlines or a VoIP device that's not currently connected to the system. Your main numbers, these are numbers your customers call in to reach you. They all behave the same way. So they all have the same main greeting and they all route the same way, at least initially. Your fax box number, this is for your incoming faxes, basically the number people use to send faxes to you. And then total numbers. Assigned numbers means the numbers you're currently using. Spare numbers are numbers you're keeping on your account, but you're not currently using in some fashion. And then US and toll-free DIDs. Below that, you have the company directory. Users can determine if they're in the company directory or not. That's the noise. The account ID number, you can always use that in reference to us, like if you need to send an email saying, hey, I'm on this account number and you need such and such information. And then the account realm is used for a couple of things. One, if you're sending a fax out, as well as for any VoIP device, third-party VoIP devices. So like you have a VoIP phone that isn't auto-provisionable, doesn't show up on the list, you would use that for the server name. Right. Up here we have the company caller ID. You are going to want this filled out initially, especially if you're making use of VoIP phones. Company caller ID name. This is text up to 15 characters, including spaces or special characters. Excuse me. It takes about 3 business days for that to get populated among the various servers on the various carriers. A couple things to keep in mind about the company caller ID name. So one, all the carriers in the call path have to support caller ID name. There are some carriers who don't support that. So if a call routes through them and they don't support it, then the caller ID name won't get transmitted all the way down to the receiving device. Now, if a carrier, even if all the carriers in that call flow support it, if a carrier is having some sort of problem, so they're having a maintenance issue or some sort of outage, or for some reason the caller ID name doesn't get transmitted clearly to them, right? There's some sort of corruption. Again, it won't get fully transmitted down all the way through. And then lastly, one last concern is for calls going to a cell phone especially. So most cell phone carriers don't provide caller ID name as a free service. Usually it's an additional paid service. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But also any device where you program phone numbers in, right, and then you put a label on it, the device's label will supersede any information we send. And then down here you have the company caller or the company emergency address, so E911. This is for North America. You want to make sure this is up to date because if you use a VoIP phone and call 911, this is like the default address we send. So you don't want to send the E911 or emergency services to the wrong address. Hold music. This is your default company hold music. You can upload files. It needs to be either an MP3 or a .wav, and under 5 megabytes. We've had some issues with larger files lately, so you may want to compress it further than that. All right, let's go over to main number. All right, so these are your main company numbers. Now, as long as you have one that with E911 set up, you can always unassign a number. But the system wants at least one number with E911 set up on it. If you want to add a new number, you can either add from your spare numbers, so numbers you already have on your account, or if you want a new one, you go to buy new or buy numbers, either local or toll free. Local, you would choose an area code, and then click on search. And this applies even for a new sign up who doesn't have any numbers on their account. You can choose by numbers. For a new sign up, you're not actually going to be charged for the system for a new number. It's just what the system uses to add a number to the account. It's basically for customers who have multiple numbers already. So it's letting them know, hey, you're going to be spending money on this. But for a new sign up with no numbers, you're not going to be charged any additional amount. But you choose a number you like, you click add number, and then you click on buy numbers, and that will add it to the account. Next up, we have office hours strategy. Typical for a new sign up, office hours strategy is set up as 24-hour open office. However, most people change that because that's not actually going to be open 24 hours. So for each day of the week, you put a check mark in front of the day of the week that you're open. And then you put your open hours in 24-hour or military time. And then you leave any day you're closed unchecked. Then you also have this option right here at the bottom. If your office is closed for lunch, you can put a check mark here. And then you can put your lunch hours, again, in 24-hour time. Again, any changes you make, you want to click on Save Changes. So that way the changes are kept. Office holidays, you can set your holidays in advance. Any holiday that has a set day, so 4th of July in the United States, you can just leave from year to year, right? It's always the same date. You don't have to worry about it. For holidays that change, so like Memorial Day has a different date each year, after it's lapsed, you're probably going to want to delete it or update it for the next year. One thing to notice about holidays on Dash is there's no year designation. This is also problematic for New Year's. So one of the options you have for adding a holiday is a date range, right? So we have one here for spring holiday, although February doesn't really count as spring in my opinion. But anyway, so you can set a date range to cover a number of days. However, because there's no year designation, doing that for the New Year's is problematic. So what you want to do for New Year's, since that's in the near future, you want to do New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as individual holidays, and then any other time beyond that, or before that, you can do as a date range. But it's just that covering New Year's Day to New Year's Eve, you want to make sure each is set up individually. Right. Incoming call handling. So this is how your main numbers are handling calls that come in. All right, so your first option is a virtual receptionist. Basically, call comes in, and then you want a greeting to play. And usually in that greeting, you want to give directions in terms of, what does pressing 1 do, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. And then over here on the left, this is how you determine what those button presses do, right? So when they press 1, I'm sending them to a ring group that I've labeled Borderlands 3 info. Pressing 2 is going to a support group. 3 is going specifically to Ray. 4 goes to the smart directory. 5 goes to Ray's voicemail box. And then 7 is going to David. Now, you can always change these. Click the X next to it will remove an option, for example. If you make any changes, you always want to click Save. In fact, in this case, you click Save here, and you would click Save here as well, and that'll save all the changes. If you only click that first save, changes didn't get saved in the system. Now, if you need to add a route, you add a route, click 5, and then you can choose. You can choose users. You can choose a call queue if you have ACD queues. You can choose a device, although we don't typically recommend doing so. A media file, again, not recommended, but some people choose to do so. And then a group, so group of staff members, and then a voicemail box. Now, in terms of your greeting, you have text to speech. You'll just type it out. You can upload your own file. Again, MP3 or .wav. And again, under 5 megabytes. Let's see here. You can choose from existing recordings if you already have uploaded greetings. You can record it on the phone. However, when it's talking about a registered phone, it's talking about a VoIP phone. And then you would enter this PIN. If you already have a greeting in place, when the greeting is playing, you can simply enter the PIN number. Or you can do a professional greeting. Now this actually, we've partnered with another company. Click on order, it'll take you to their link, called Snap Recordings. One of the biggest advantages of using them is you have up to like I think 100 different voice actors to choose from in terms of male and female. You also have different versions of English available. They have also bilingual options. So just a lot of different options to choose from. They have their own pricing. They handle their own billing. They also have packages available to them. That includes things like down here. Oops. So you have, this is your normal greetings, and then you have message on hold, which usually includes script and then music backgrounds. And you do add-ons. They have also like express service so they can get it to you quickly. Now, if you have a problem with it reading that you order from them, you have to talk to Snap Recordings as well as for any kind of billing issue. We don't actually handle any of that. Well, looks like no one has showed up, so I'm going to go ahead and end the training.